What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of the Midwest Blerd Podcast, where positive fandom from the heartland comes alive. I'm Marcus, your host, and I'm thrilled to kick off this journey with you. First, why'd I do this podcast? I've been an avid podcast listener for probably a decade, but every single podcast I listened to was from one of the coasts, and frankly, whether they knew it or not, the things they would talk about did not reflect my values. Actually, one podcast kept taking pot shots at the president. And listen, love him or hate him, but that's not why I listen to nerd podcasts. So I was pretty much done. So I decided to start my own rather than continue complaining. So this is it, the Midwest Blerd Podcast. I hope that you join me on this journey. We'll figure out what this podcast is supposed to be. I hope that you'll help me as I move forward through this, our first segment ever on this podcast, Nerd News Now. First up, we've got some exciting announcements this week. Lucasfilm just revealed Star Wars Galactic Racer, a new high-speed racing game set in the Star Wars universe that promises to bring some fresh thrills to fans of all ages. Also, Dark Horse Comics dropped the news about Shadow of Maul, a new comic series exploring the darker side of the Sith, Lord's Legacy. In Marvel news, the buzz is heating up around Avengers Doomsday. I don't know if you saw the promo trailers. I loved every single one. I might be in the minority, but I loved the Captain America one more than I liked the Thor one, just for one simple reason. It's just because over the past couple of movies, I guess you could say that Endgame, he was serious at the end, but mostly in the past couple of movies, Thor's been a comedic character, so it was just hard for me to take him seriously in that trailer, although I will say that I'm sure that the movie is going to turn that around. Actually, the Thor trailer did give me like a lot of hope and a lot of excitement. That character was going to be taken very seriously in this movie. I grew up, one of the first comic book I ever bought was a Thor comic. And so I really love that character. I loved the first Thor movie, how it had a Shakespearean feel to it. Marvel Studios has not yet released the full trailer online, but the marketing rollout is in full swing, with more teasers expected in the coming weeks. Stay tuned for more updates as we get closer to the release date.
Reviews and reactions.
In this week's reviews and reactions, I'm counting down the top 10 most anticipated movies and top 10 shows for 2026. Well, I mean, at least anticipated for me. So let's dive in. We're going to start with the 10 most anticipated movies for 2026. At number 10, Disclosure Day. Here's a short synopsis. Directed by Steven Spielberg, this thrilling sci-fi drama explores the consequences of a groundbreaking technology that reveals hidden truths, shaking society to its core. The film co-stars Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor, with a screenplay by David Kopp and music by none other than John Williams. I'll tell you what, guys, I am really looking forward to this. First of all, you can't go wrong with a Steven Spielberg movie, because even if you don't like the subject matter, the movie, the way he tells stories, will still be compelling. And this, I feel like, coming on the heels of all of the actual real world disclosure that's been happening about possibly other intelligent life being out there trying to communicate with us, this feels like a timely movie. This feels like it's going to be a huge hit. Number 9 might surprise you a little bit. You might not even know a lot about it, but The Death of Robin Hood. It's a dark reimagining of the legendary outlaw's final days, blending historical drama with supernatural elements. Written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, it stars Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. Now, I know we've gotten a lot of Robin Hood content. My favorite is still Robin Hood Men in Tights. But I don't know. I feel like the story is good enough that maybe someone could tell a really good story. And this seems like a different take, a different perspective. It's an older Robin Hood. In the title, sounds like he's going to die. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in any of the Robin Hood stories that have come before. So I'm excited about this. Number 8 should come as no surprise to anyone that grew up Generation X, Mortal Kombat 2. It's the sequel to the hit fighting game adaptation, promises intense battles, new characters, and expanded lore. Directed by Simon McCoy and written by Jeremy Slater, the film features Carl Urban and Jessica McNamee. I will tell you one reason why this made my top 10 in 2 words. Carl Urban. I am a huge fan. I even liked him when he was on that sci-fi show where he was like partner with a sensitive robot. I don't know if you guys, I think it was called Almost Human. I even liked that show because of him. Dredd, I mean, I'm a huge Sylvester Stallone fan, but I liked Dredd more than I liked his Judge Dredd. So you tell me that Carl Urban's going to be in it, and I'm there for it. Number 7, Masters of the Universe. As I said, I'm a Generation Xer. I'm an 80s and 90s kid. I was born in 78, and Masters of the Universe, I'm just so excited about it. It's a live-action reboot of the classic fantasy franchise, bringing He-Man and the Battle for Eternia to a new generation. Directed by Travis Knight with a screenplay by Chris Butler and others, it stars Nicholas Galitzine, I hope I got that right, Camila Mendes, and Jared Leto. I know very little about this. I have seen no leaks or anything. I don't even know if it has begun filming yet, but I'm very excited about this movie. Number 6, Clayface, a gritty origin story of the Batman villain Clayface, exploring themes of identity and transformation. Directed by James Watkins, written by Mike Flanagan and Hossein Amini, starring Tom Rhys-Harris and Naomi Ackie. I'm sure I got all those names incorrect, but I'm excited about this movie. From what I've heard, it's going to have a horror kind of vibe to it, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing what DC Studios does. I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to show up to whatever James Gunn tells me is the next chapter. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be excited about it. Number 5, Super Mario Galaxy, a vibrant, family-friendly adventure bringing the beloved video game to life with stunning visuals and heartwarming storytelling. Directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, produced by Chris Melandri, and I'm going to get this wrong, Shigeru Miyamoto, featuring voices of Chris Pratt and Anya Taylor-Joy. Well, first off, the last Super Mario Brothers was so good that, of course, the sequel is going to make my top 10 list. I loved that movie, and hopefully they can give us just as much humor, just as much nostalgia, and just as much great music as they did the last time. I'm really looking forward to it. Number 4, Spider-Man Brand New Day, the next chapter in the Spider-Man saga, introducing new villains and challenges for the web-slinger. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, starring Tom Holland and Zendaya. Well, I mean, we all know, spoiler alert, that in the last time we saw Spider-Man, everyone had forgotten who he was. So it's just going to be really nice to kind of get to that. One of my favorite parts, really, of any superhero story is them having to hide their secret identity, hide their superpowers. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing kind of the hijinks that go around Spider-Man, again, having to hide who he is in order for him to kind of keep a personal life and keep fighting crime. Number 3, we talked about it in the news section, Avengers Doomsday, the epic multiverse crossover event featuring the Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four, with Chris Evans returning as Captain America, directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, written by Michael Waldron and Stephen McFeely, produced by Kevin Feige. I am so excited for this movie. I mean, I just rewatched Endgame last night, and I mean, I'm not going to say I cried again, but I might have. That movie is so good, and really, they earned it by giving over a decade of incredible movies that when we got to Endgame, we just loved those characters. We felt like we knew those characters. And so Avengers Doomsday, I'm looking forward to hearing them explain what's going on. I, with everybody else, got a little confused with all the multiverse stuff, although it gave us a lot of cool scenes. I mean, let's be honest. I know the cool kids like to talk about how they don't like multiverse, but it was kind of awesome to see different versions of characters. It's always awesome when you see that. Plus, they can give you kind of that comic book Easter egg stuff that they can't give you just in a straight linear story. So I'm looking forward to Avengers Doomsday. I'm looking forward to seeing Captain America again. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing Thor and where he's at right now. Actually, where all the characters are at. And I'm looking forward to seeing them mix with some of the new characters that we have. I loved Thunderbolts. I'm looking forward to seeing, like, well, where's that story in this? I thought they were the new Avengers. Are there going to be multiple Avengers teams? How are they working in the X-Men? Is Deadpool going to be there? I'm just excited just to see what happens. Number 2, Supergirl. A darker, moodier take on Kara Zor-El's story, blending sci-fi and Western elements in a quest for vengeance. Directed by Craig Gillespie, written by Anna Nogueira, I know I pronounced that wrong, produced by James Gunn and Peter Safran, starring Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa. First of all, everything I've seen from this is great. I love that it looks like not a lot of it's going to take place on Earth, so we're going to learn not just about, the characters on Earth, but we're going to learn a lot more about this universe, the universe that James Gunn is building. I love that Jason Momoa is playing Lobo. I have loved Lobo ever since I first saw him in, what was that? That old, I think it was just called Justice League, that cartoon, where Superman's upper body was like 10 times larger than his lower body. That was the case. I loved the character of Lobo, and Jason Momoa was born to play this role. And plus, Superman, that movie was so good. Like I said before, I'm just really looking forward to seeing more of this universe, seeing new characters in this universe. Personally, I hope they put Mr. Terrific in everything, but I recognize he can't be in everything. But I'm just really looking forward to this. And number 1, The Mandalorian and Grogu. A continuation of the beloved Star Wars series following the adventures of Din Djarin and Grogu as they navigate new threats and alliances. Directed by Jon Favreau, co-written by Favreau and Dave Filoni, starring Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver. I am so looking forward to this movie. First of all, Star Wars is my largest fandom. It just is. I love Star Trek. It's a close second, but I love Star Wars. I love the Star Wars lore. I read the comics. I read the books. I watch the movies, the TV shows. I love it all. If I can get my hands on some Star Wars, I'm going to do it. I love it. And I know that it's cool to hate on Star Wars for some people, but I love it. Even the stuff that I didn't like as much as other stuff. I wasn't the hugest fan of The Last Jedi, but let's face it. I rewatched The Last Jedi. I rewatch everything else because there is some cool stuff in there. Plus, we might disagree with the choices they made regarding Luke Skywalker's future. He's still my favorite Star Wars character, and so it was awesome seeing him. And you cannot deny, even for the haters, that by the end of that movie, what he talked about, he sounded like the Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi at the very end. And so they even took us on a little journey for him as well, whether you agree with it or not. I've heard people that have self-identified as Star Wars fans who have built their careers off of talking about Star Wars, talk about how they're not excited about this movie. And I just don't get that. You are lying to yourself. If you are a Star Wars fan and you did not love The Mandalorian when it first came out, I don't know about you, but I was skeptical at first. I was like, how are they going to build an entire series around this group of people that, if you didn't watch Clone Wars or Rebels, was just a helmet to you? I was like, how are they going to build an entire universe around that? And they did. And it was awesome. I still get chills when I watch The Rescue from season 2. If you know, you know. Absolutely amazing. It was like everything that my little kid Star Wars loving heart wanted. It was exactly how I used to play with the action figures, the stories that I wanted to see. I would create myself. That's what The Rescue was, but better, because it was better than I could have imagined it. So I don't even care. The Mandalorian and Grogu, the only reason why I've heard a lot that they had a down season the last season, so maybe that's why people aren't excited about this movie. The only reason why we think that last season was a down season is because they've given us so much amazing stuff. They gave us Ahsoka. They gave us Luke Skywalker again. The amount that we learned about Order 66 and other perspectives on what happened, the amount of questions still left to be answered. The Mandalorian and Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, they did the entire Star Wars community a service by creating that show, because it brought to me back that just the beauty and the fun and the excitement of Star Wars with all the weird. I mean, for me, part of what makes Star Wars special is that it's not just sci-fi. It's fantasy too. It's not just look at these laser guns, look at these amazing ships. It's let's try to understand the Force. How's the Force working? What is the Force? Because we've heard it described different ways. What is it? Who can use it? Can everyone use it? Maybe. There are so many questions, and I absolutely love that, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to give us next. Now let's move on to the top 10 most anticipated TV shows for 2026. At number 10, Last Airbender Season 2. The continuation of the beloved animated series, exploring new adventures and deeper character development. Showrunners Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konitso return, with the cast including Gordon Cormier and Kiowentio. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But this made my top 10, of course, because I love this show. I loved the first season. I love the story of The Last Airbender. I think it is so creative. I know that it's not technically an anime. It was an American-made show, but it still gave you kind of that mix of deep lore, action, and still like just ridiculous humor. And I appreciate that. That's why I watch anime to begin with. So I am very much looking forward to their interpretation of their live action interpretation of The Last Airbender. I cannot wait to see Earthbender in their full glory. We saw in the trailer. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Number 9, Scrubs. A reboot of the classic medical comedy, bringing back familiar faces and new storylines, created by Bill Lawrence, starring Zach Braff, Donald Faison, and Sarah Chalk. First, I know that this is a nerd podcast, but I feel like Scrubs fits directly into that. I mean, the characters of JD and Turk, we all know a JD and Turk. We all know them, right? Brilliant people, goofy and funny as hell. We all know who they are. And this show, when Scrubs was first on, it was appointment television for me. I don't know what it was for you, but I loved that show. For me, they did the perfect will they or won't they. Like it got to the point where it kind of annoyed you, but it didn't annoy you so much that you just stopped watching the show. So I cannot wait. The music, Bill Lawrence being back, that's really what makes this for me. Bill Lawrence, if you don't know, he is a brilliant comedic mind. And what makes him so brilliant is the heart he brings into his shows. And I'm going to talk about another one of those shows, another one of his shows. Actually, didn't make this top 10 list, but it's an honorable mention, and I'll talk about it at the end. Number 8, Spider Noir, a dark, stylistic spin-off exploring a noir version of the Spider-Man universe, developed by Oren Uziel, starring Nicolas Cage and Lamorne Morris. Okay. Nick Cage is coming back for this? To do an animated television show? Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. I am here for it. Nick Cage, I don't care what you say, he's an American treasure. And the Spider Noir character from Into the Spider-Verse was hilarious. So give me more of it. I'm here for it. It could just be him trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube for 10 episodes, and I will watch them. I will watch all 10 of those episodes. So I'm very, very excited about this. Number 7, Crystal Lake, a horror anthology series set around the infamous Camp Crystal Lake, delving into new terrifying tales, created by Brad Caleb Kane and Victor Miller, starring Linda Cardellini. Cardellini. I'm sorry for all these names I'm mispronouncing. I promise by episode 10, I'll get better at pronouncing names. But I am very much looking forward to the show. And I'll tell you why I'm looking forward to this show. Because I watched It Welcome to Derry. And before that show, if you would have told me, oh, it's going to be another horror, anthology series, I kind of would have been like, all right, maybe if I have time. But It Welcome to Derry was so good. It added so much richness to that story that I'm just really looking forward to what they can do with Camp Crystal Lake. I have a lot of faith in the creators, and we'll see what they give us. Number 6, Maul Shadow Lord. I mean, I've told you I'm a Star Wars fan, so of course this is on the list. A series focusing on Darth Maul's rise and fall, blending action and political intrigue, created by Dave Filoni, starring Sam Witwer. First of all, Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer working together again? Yes, 1,000 times yes again. I am here for it. Secondly, if you watched Rebels like I did and you watched Clone Wars like I did and kind of saw Maul's side story, if you were just a movie watcher, you probably have no idea how awesome Darth Maul is, but Darth Maul is awesome. Okay. And at number 5, Starfleet Academy, a Star Trek series following cadets at the iconic academy, balancing training and interstellar diplomacy, created by Gaia Violo, Alex Kurtzman, and Nagala Landau, starring Holly Hunter and Sandro Rasta. Okay. I am a hardcore Trekkie. I'll be the first person to admit that while the first few seasons of Discovery were incredible appointment TV for me, the ending, I didn't love it as much as I loved the beginning. I felt like it kind of went into some subject matter, and I get it. Star Wars has always been pushing the envelope, especially when it comes to asking hard questions about social issues. But one of the things I've loved about Star Trek is it asks those questions and it gives you a bunch of sides of those questions. It doesn't just preach to you something. At least that's the way I've had Star Trek. And Discovery felt more preachy than I felt like it had to, and it didn't really benefit the story. Whereas that's also something that in Star Trek in the past, I mean, Drumhead from The Next Generation sends a very powerful message, but it is part of the story. It's not just shoving in a message to try to make you think about something. No, Drumhead is relevant to the entire Starfleet, the way they've built Starfleet in that universe. And so I love it. And I'm just really looking forward to Starfleet Academy, even though it involves a lot of the Voyager characters. But I'll tell you one reason why I'm looking forward to this. Star Trek Lower Decks. If you have not watched that show, I don't care if you're a Trekkie or not, watch that show. It is hilarious. Not only is it hilarious, but if you are a Star Trek fan of many years like I am, I started watching Star Trek The Next Generation with my dad when I was a kid, then Star Trek Lower Decks is almost like a love letter to fans. Just like, what was that movie with Tim Allen? Why am I spacing on it? Galaxy Quest. Just like Galaxy Quest is a love fest or is a love letter to Trekkies, so is Lower Decks. The more you know about the Star Trek world, the funnier Lower Decks is. And I'm thinking that Star Trek Academy, this show, is going to be hopefully the exact same. Not to mention the fact that one thing that Lower Decks did that I feel like it doesn't get enough credit for is it really talked about the ethos of Starfleet and kind of showed the importance of Starfleet. I mean, I know it's popular to bag on our heroes and to try to talk about, oh, the Jedi are flawed and evil, even though I'll never believe that. The Jedi were always the good guys. But it's, it's easy to be like, oh, look at the good guys. They're actually the bad guys. I mean, yes, it makes you sound smart for like 5 minutes. But really, I like these shows because I want to see my heroes do heroic things. And Starfleet is heroic. You look at the actual story of Star Trek, how Starfleet came together, what their mission is, what these stories are supposed to be about. Star Trek is not Star Wars. And I love that about it. I love that in Star Trek, one of the main characters might be putting on a concerto, might be putting on some sort of art symposium. I love the slow burn of Star Trek, that you can take time to get to know those characters. I get that people want action. I'm all about the pew pew as well, but I really want to sit with these characters, and I'm hoping that Starfleet Academy gives us strong characters that we can fall in love with. Number 4, Vision Quest, a superhero drama exploring the challenges of legacy and identity, created and showrun by Terry Matalas, starring Paul Bettany and James Spader. First, I loved the Wandaville, or was that what it's called? I don't know. Sorry about that. But I loved that series involving the Scarlet Witch. It was absolutely incredible, and it feels to me like Vision Quest is kind of a continuation of that. Like, we saw the White Vision, the reprogrammed Vision, but then we saw that he got the memories back. How's he going to deal with that? I'm very much looking forward to that. Number 3, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, Season 2. The sequel season continuing the epic monster saga with new threats and alliances. Created by Chris Black and Matt Fraction, starring Anna Sawai and Kurt Russell. I loved Monarch Season 1. First of all, I love monster movies. I am a monster movie fan. Give me Godzilla, give me King Kong, give me all of them. I've watched all of them, and I absolutely love them. Actually, my dog Leia actually also loves monster movies. Whenever there's a thunderstorm outside, I'll put on a monster movie, and she absolutely loves it. I don't know why. Science. Anyway, I am very much looking forward to this show. Kurt Russell is an awesome character. I love the mystery behind all of it. I love that season 1 kind of left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm really looking forward to season 2. Number 2, Wonder Man, a Marvel series blending action and comedy, focusing on the enigmatic hero Wonder Man, created by Destin Daniel Cretton and Andrew Guest, starring, I'm going to mispronounce, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Ben Kingsley. I saw the trailer for this. It told me almost nothing about this story, but I loved that. And I loved how it looks. And really, I feel like Marvel is heading in a positive direction. I think they're going to give us back. They're going to get us back to getting to know strong characters with cool powers. Wonder Man is a cool character. I don't know much about him. I wasn't really into the Wonder Man comics, but I'm really looking forward to this season. And at number 1, Lanterns, a detective-style mystery series following Green Lantern's Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart as they investigate a murder in Nebraska, created by Chris Mundy, Damon Lindelof, and Tom King, starring Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre. I am so looking forward to this show. words cannot communicate how much I'm looking forward to this show. First, just the whole entire story behind the Green Lanterns is incredible for me. I grew up on Green Lantern comic books. Hal Jordan will always be Green Lantern to me, but John Stewart will always be the coolest Green Lantern to me. And so I'm just very much looking forward to this. I mean, and plus, it's a detective style mystery. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Honorable mentions. Marshals. I mean, I'm looking for it. It's a Yellowstone spinoff. It looks like it's going to have a law enforcement basis to it. Maybe there'll be some cool mysteries. Didn't make the list because I really don't know that much about it. And honestly, I wasn't the hugest fan of Yellowstone, but I'm really looking forward to this. Primal Season 3. If you've not watched Primal on Adult Swim, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's an entertaining show. It's not going to make you ponder questions about your life. It's pretty much just drinking high-powered action. That's exactly what it is. Blade Runner 2099. The Blade Runner story is very interesting to me, and I think it's ripe for some new stories to be told about those characters, how that society is dealing, how that society is progressing, maybe some other areas of how that society works. So I'm really looking forward to this. And lastly, talked about Bill Lawrence before, the creator of Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso, but I'll tell you why it didn't make my top 10, because top 10 is an anticipated list, and man, Ted Lasso is a punch to the heart every single episode. And so I got to actually emotionally and mentally gear up to watch that show. So it didn't make my 10 most anticipated, but it definitely is an anticipated show for me. Well, that's our countdown for the most anticipated movies and TV shows of 2026. Which ones are you most excited about? Let me know. I'll let you know how you can contact me at the end of this episode.
Legacy Corner.
Now for Legacy Corner. I told you guys that I'm a huge Trekkie, and the show that I want to focus on in Legacy Corner is Star Trek: The Next Generation. Now, a lot of people have different entries into the Star Trek universe, and all of them are valid. I don't care if your entry was the most recent Star Trek Strange New Worlds, you suddenly became a Trekkie. Welcome to the family. It's all a great story being told in different ways, but Star Trek: The Next Generation was mine. When I was watching Picard and they went on the Enterprise D, I'm not going to be ashamed to tell you I cried like a very little baby. I cried ugly cried. I was so into that. So, yes, bring it to me. This classic series not only shaped modern sci-fi storytelling, but also brought us unforgettable characters and timeless themes about humanity, exploration, and hope. Even decades later, its influence is felt across the genre, and it remains a beloved part of our fandom. If you haven't watched it in a while, I highly recommend giving it another spin. Star Trek: The Next Generation will always forever live in my heart as really one of the sci-fi series that define me. I'll tell you right now, I think about what would Captain Picard do? What would Will Riker do? I think about those episodes were incredible, and it made us ask some hard questions about our own beliefs. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about Star Trek. Well, that is it for episode 1 of the Midwest Blerd Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining me on this new adventure. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your fellow fans, and come back in 2 weeks for more positive vibes and great stories from the Heartland. Until then, keep celebrating what you love, and you can find me on Instagram at Midwest Blerd, on X at Midwest Blerd, and on Substack at Midwest Blerd. I look forward to seeing you guys again, and I'll catch you next time.